Hello everyone, my name is Chong and I'm the Pre-Sales Solutions Architect with Micro Focus. Today I want to focus on the search feature within Arcsight Investigate. Arcsight Investigate is our new hunting and security analytic platform for detecting the unknown threats. Now Arcsight Investigate is fast and it's very easy to use. Now when I say fast, Investigate on average is 10 times faster than our competitor's product because it leverages Vertica, which is designed to handle big data queries. When it comes to easy to use, it's very intuitive and it's a matter of typing in a question or the value that you're looking for. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So what you're seeing on the screen is the Arcsight Investigate logon page. So I'm going to log on to Arcsight Investigate. Now, when I first log on, it automatically takes me to a search page. And within that search page, what it does is that it gives me a starting point and it's asking me, what do I want to ask from Arcsight Investigate? And it gives you examples of questions or search queries. What I want to say is that if you have done Google search or you have done a search within YouTube, then you should have no issue performing searches on Arcsight Investigate, because that's how easy it is to do a search in Arcsight Investigate. All we're going to do is specify a value, and it's going to give you various recommendations that you could select from. Similar to when you do a Google search or when you do a search on YouTube, as you type in the strings, the Google or YouTube will give you various recommendations as you type in the string. And then as you get more specific or as you type in more strings, the recommendations are narrowed to a more specific searches you're doing. Same case for Arcsight Investigate as well. At the same time, there's really no reason to learn a complex language or database schema. Again, it's because you're just typing in the questions or typing in the value that you are looking for. You don't have to worry about uppercase or lowercase. That automatically is taken care of in Arcsight Investigate. So let me show you an example. So in the my search box here, if I don't type in anything, then it gives you recommendations on the various fields that Arcsight Investigate supports. Now what I'm going to do is, let's say I start typing ST. Now what this does is that Arcsight Investigate is giving you recommendations on the fields that contained the characters ST. If I go and type in STE, then the search is more narrowed because Arcsight Investigate automatically recognizes that STE is not part of the field name. So it must be a value with the string type. So it gives you all the recommendations where the field is going to take a string type. So here it could be a source username, destination username, or any username. This is where you're looking for events with characters STE, and you're not sure if this string is part of the source username or part of destination username. At the same time, it may not be a username. It could be a host name, or it could be a domain name. Now, if I keep going further, I'll type in the word string, then I could pretty much tell that this could be either host name or a username. So let's just say, you know what? I'm gonna select any username equals Steve. So I select on it. Once I select on this, I could change the operands if I wanted to. So if you click on the equal sign, again, it gives you a drop-down menu or recommendation based on, what operand you want to select. So here, I could search on any username equals Steve. And the Arcsight Investigate doesn't care if it is uppercase or lowercase. It's case insensitive, so it's going to find anything with the string Steve on the username field. Now, what if instead of string, I'm going to type in a number? So if I just type in an integer number 2, then Arcsight Investigate will give me all the fields that contain the integer number 2. If I go and type in 22, then now the recommendations for your choice has changed, because Arcsight Investigate automatically recognizes that there is no field that contains the integer 22, but there are fields that will take integer type. So 22 could be any port, destination port, source port, or translated port. So if I want to see all the secure shell traffic, I could say destination port equals 22. Then this will give me all the events where traffic is targeting via port 22. Next, let's do one more thing here. Let's do 10, and I'm going to put a decimal. So here, Arcsight Investigate recognizes that this is a decimal number. So it's going to give you all the fields with the decimal type. Now, if I go and type in another 1010, this is 10.10. So again, the value type is a decimal. So again, it's going to give you a field names that will take the decimal type. What if I type in another dot? Then Arcsight Investigate now recognizes the fact that, hey, this is not a decimal number. This is actually a format of an IP address. So it's going to give you all the fields that will accept IP address type. So here, it could be a source address, destination address. So even though I haven't finished typing my IP address, it automatically recognizes that it is an IP address type. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to define a subnet, because one of the most popular requests that I get is searching traffics within a specific subnet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a subnet. So again, just type in an IP address. Just easy as typing in an IP address. So I'm defining a subnet. And then from all these recommendations, I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to say any IP, because I want to see all the events to and from the specific subnet that I'm looking for. Now here's the query. The next thing I want to do is that I have to change the operand, because when you're searching within a subnet, then that operand is not equals, but we have an operand called in subnet. The last thing you want to do is whenever you define a subnet, you have to define a subnet mask. So it's 24. Now I'm going to do a search, and here is the search time, or the search duration. Now my test events are all generated within the month of April. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change from last 30 minutes to the month of April. So I'm going to specify April 1st through 30th. So it's just a matter of changing the date and then perform a search. So click on search button, and here is where you see the status of the query that's going on right now. And I'm going to click on this custom range one more time to hide this the time ranges. Okay, searching. So right now it has found 626 matching events. Now, once I have this search created, I could save this and I could use it again. So right now the default name is search for. Now, if I go to if I point my mouse cursors to near search for string, there's this pencil icon. If I click on this, then I could actually give it a name. So I could say this is a workstation subnet 10.0.111.0. And then I'm going to click on this checkbox to save this search. Okay, so now it gives me a status message that says I have successfully saved this search with this specific query. The next thing I want to do is let's look at some of the IP addresses. So I'm going to scroll down, and these are the results that it returned. And if I look at destination address, and let's say, you know what, I want to see within this subnet, I just want to see all the hosts in that subnet that's going toward this external IP address. So now I have to apply another filter or condition. So all I'm going to do is right mouse click, and I could either use as a filter or search for this specific IP address. So we're gonna go through each option. If I select use as a filter, so I click on this, then what happens is that if I scroll up a little bit, this condition has been automatically added as an ad hoc filter. So you know, my initial save search has this subnet, and by adding this filter, it's not gonna change the save search, the save search or the search that I saved. So if I click on apply here, then what happens is that this additional condition is added to this save search. Now from 626 events to I get 2 events. And if I scroll down and you look at the destination address, so I see 2 events that are targeting this IP address. And by default, I'm using a default field set, and these are all in alphabetical order. And I could also see that, okay, this is my destination address. What is my source IP or source host name? I'm going to scroll to the right. And I just have 2 systems that are going into that external website. I could even go one further and add additional ad hoc filters as well. So by looking at this, I could say what are the application protocols? Or I could even add so I could just right mouse click and say use application protocol as a filter as well. So if I click on that, then another ad hoc filter is created. And if you hit apply, then now you have two temporary filters that are utilized based on my Safe Search workstation subnet. Okay, now removing this ad hoc filter is fairly simple. You could just click on remove all or just click on the X. I'm going to say remove all. Now I'm going to go back, and there were second options to add a filter. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to the destination address again. And then this time what I'm going to do is right mouse click, and instead of selecting the first option, which is use as filter, I'm going to say search for and then the destination IP address. If I do this, then what happened is that now that additional condition is added to my existing safe search. So now I have 2 conditions where search an event within this specific subnet and destination going to the 74.126 subnet or 74.126.144.80 address. I could just do a search again, and then now it's gonna match any events for these 2 conditions. And then here it says 2 matching events. And then here it is. Now, if I click on save, then now my saved search will have this destination address as an additional search criteria for this saved search. If I don't save it, then again, this destination address is just ad hoc. So I'm gonna pretty much delete that right now, and then just keep the original query. Now I could even just go and create a new search. So let's click on new search, and now search for popped up. Now with search for, again, it gives you a starting direction on how to start. Now, if you want to utilize the existing saved searches, then you just type in pound. Now, if you type in pound, these are all the saved searches. Some of them are default, some of them are custom, and at the very bottom is the saved searches that I saved. So you could reuse the viewer that you have created many times if you create a saved search. And then again, I gotta specify my time frame for April. Then click on search. So here's the status of the query. Okay, so again, same result, right? Because I now, instead of manually typing in my search criteria, I'm just bringing back the saved searches that I have performed. So 626 matches. The other quick, fast, easy feature within the investigate search is this. Let's look at destination address. And I want to see which destination address are most chattiest. So I want to see either top 10 or bottom 10. With investigate, it's just a matter of selecting the field, right mouse click, and there is a feature for preview top bottom. So if I click on this, it gives you the chattiest IP addresses, view top 10. If I go to one right next to view top 10, it's view bottom 10. This is so some there are times where you want to view the bottom 10 just to see those one-offs where it could be you're looking for a needle in the haystack. Now this is very fast because once you have done the search, the preview for viewing top 10 and bottom 10 are generated from the results that we have just got from the query. So when you perform a query, that entire result resides in memory. So within memory, we could gather various data easily and quickly. And this just doesn't apply to the searches or this quick preview or sorting. It also applies to our visualizations, which is data analytics that I will be covering on part 2 of this video. So you could easily do top 10 on any of the fields that you see in Arcsight Investigate. Destination port, let's do a quickly top 10. And as you can see, there are 604 events that doesn't have destination port, but the next one up is there's 18 events that are targeting port 443. And of course, if you only want to see port 443, then you right mouse click and just specify, search for 443. If I do that, if I scroll up, it at a destination port equals 443. The next cool thing that I really like which is available in Arcsight Investigate, is the freeze pane feature within Arcsight Excel. Not Arcsight Excel, I'm sorry, but a spreadsheet. Because there are times where I had to export the events out to a spreadsheet and do some data manipulation. With Arcsight Investigate, let's say I'm looking at destination port or destination hostname. So I could just right mouse click and select make sticky. So what that does is that it freezes the field destination hostname, and I could just scroll the rest of the fields and do a simple comparison. So I could say, okay, destination hostname, here are all the destination addresses associated with this hostname. And I could also make this make it sticky. And then I could also go and say, okay, I want to see all the source IPs that are associated with that destination address and hostname. So I scroll all the way to the right. And here's my source address and source hostname. I could scroll down and do a comparison, or I could just make it a sticky. And then again, I could just compare other fields with these three sticky columns that I have added onto it. Okay, so I think I pretty much covered everything in the search features within Arcsight Investigate. So just to reiterate, search is very intuitive and very easy in Arcsight Investigate. I think just from the demo that I showed you, we can safely say that, if you know how to do a Google search or search specific topic in YouTube, you can use Arcsight Investigate without any issue. It's a matter of typing the value, and it gives you all the recommended query that you could select from. So it's that intuitive. It does all the heavy lifting for you. So for as a user, you just type in the value that you're looking for, select the recommendation query, and you're off to the races. Viewing top 10 or bottom 10 is very easy. It's just a matter of right mouse clicking the field itself and selecting the top 10 or bottom 10. Adding additional filters is fairly easy. You're just right mouse clicking the field that you want to add it into your search criteria. So when you do a search, I believe it takes at most maybe 2 mouse clicks for you to do the searches. So again, it's just very very intuitive, easy to use, and it's case insensitive, so you don't have to worry about if it has to be uppercase or lowercase. Nor do you have to remember a schema name or query languages, because it automatically provides that information for you based on the data type that you select. So hopefully, I hope that this video gives you a good understanding of how to perform searches in Arcsight Investigate. The part 2 of this video, I will go into the next step of doing data analytics, because you could have hundreds, thousands, or millions of results in any platform. But then now, how do you leverage those results? How do we make sense out of it? That's when analytics becomes very useful, as well as visualization. Thank you, everyone. Bye.